Hello, Bobby Torres of Frightbox recording here, critiquing subscriber mixes, episode 12. Now, before we begin, I just want to say this. There are so many things that home studio owners tend to gloss over when trying to achieve a professional mix within their home studio. And because of this, I put together my polished production checklist where I highlight these things so you can start paying attention to them and start producing better results with the gear you already have. There's a link below to the free checklist in this video's description. So let's dive into this group of mixes submitted by my loyal email subscribers. And our first mix comes from Jamie. Let's check it out. Okay, well, Jamie, your mix sounds killer. And you mentioned in your email that you're having issues with balance and the loudness of your mix. And I could tell right away, I hear some distortion going on with your mix. And what's most likely happening, at least upon first listen from what I could hear, is that your mix is being severely limited without any other processing going on within the mix itself, or at least not enough processing that's, adding up to the net effect of a nice, balanced, loud mix. Let me give you an example. If you have your drum bus that's, very dynamic, and then you're not using any master bus compression, and you're not using a tape saturator, and you just take your mix and slam it through a limiter, you will end up with a limiter that's working very hard, and generally you'll end up with some distortion on your mix, and it'll be difficult to get your mix loud without it sounding, processed and squashed. And the trick to getting around this is to use little bits of processing throughout the process of your mix. So in other words, clip your drum bus, then use a little bit of master bus compression while you're mixing your track, then maybe use a little bit of tape saturation to help limit even more dynamic range and add some nice analog color, and maybe a little bit of multi-band compression. Each of these processors are doing very, very little, but the net effect is a nice, transparent, and loud mix. And I think that can definitely help you out because the mix sounds great, but I could hear what you're saying. It sounds like it's loud, but just very abrasive and a little bit distorted. So give these tips a shot and let me know how that works out for you. All right, our next mix here comes from Kyle. Okay, well, Kyle, your mix sounds awesome. I really like the guitar tone. The songwriting sounds great. All the editing sounds nice and tight. The only note that I can even come up with is just to maybe turn your cymbals up just slightly, just so there's more impact on some of the drum beats and drum hits when there's a transition in the riff. But other than that, man, I love the tones. I really like the snare sound. It just sounds very modern, epic, clear, fat, and punchy. So turn those cymbals up just a little and let me know how that works out for you. All right, our next mix here comes from Drunk Jesus. Let's see what we got. Okay, well, Drunk Jesus, I like what I'm hearing. The one thing that does stand out to me is that some of the cymbal hits, I hear a lot of low-mid information for some reason. I don't know if that's because you're just not rolling off enough low end on your actual direct cymbal mics, or if it's just a lot of room sound coming through. Just watch out for that because on some of those cymbal hits, they are sticking out. Again, I just hear a lot of, around 500 to 700 happening on the cymbals. And in general, I don't like to generalize here, but just in general, you're gonna wanna kind of reduce that range to make room for your guitars. The guitars sound great, the production overall sounds great, but just watch those lower mids on your cymbals so they don't conflict with your snare drum, guitars, vocals, and whatever else you're gonna have in your mix. Thank you for your submission. Give those tweaks a shot and let me know how that works out for you. All right, and our next mix here comes from Donna. Okay, well, Donna, I love what I'm hearing. I really dig the thrash vibe of the track. Cool guitar tone. Two notes here that stand out to me. Number one, depending on what you're going for with your toms, they sound very boxy to me, but to be honest, I kind of like the way they sound. They have a very unique sound to them. But if you do want more crisp and clear toms, just try removing a little bit, around 500 to 700 on your toms, just to clear them up a little. That's just my own personal taste. But then again, I kind of dig the way they sound as they are. But if that's something you're looking to accomplish, give that EQ cut a shot. And the other thing is it sounds like your vocal is not in control enough. Maybe try using a secondary compressor in circuit, maybe before the compressor you already have, and then try a brick wall limiter just to tame any peaks on the vocal. You don't have to squash the vocal, but that'll kind of keep your vocal unmoving in the mix and keep it stationary within this dense metal production. So Donna, give those tweaks a shot and good luck on your future productions. All right, and our final mix here comes from Abby. Let's check it out. Okay, well, Abby, I love what I'm hearing. Really cool riff. You mentioned in your email that you're having issues gluing the sound of your drums together, and also that your snare drum is just poking through too much. And I have a simple solution for both of these issues. Just try using a tape saturator or a clipper on your drum bus. That'll help glue the sound of your drums together as a whole and will help keep your snare drum in control and not have it be so loud. In other words, what a clipper will do is make your snare perceivably louder without it actually being louder. And often that'll help sit it in the mix properly and it won't have it be poking through too much or in too much of a drastic way. So give this a shot and let me know how that works out for you on your future mixes. I would just like to shout out and thank everyone for submitting this awesome group of mixes. And if you're interested in having me critique one of your mixes, there are detailed instructions in this video's description. If you found this video helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And do not forget to click the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload one of my weekly videos on all things Metal Rock production. If you're interested in some Frightbox swag, got t-shirts, mugs, and other cool stuff on the way. There's a link below to the Frightbox merch store in this video's description. And again, if you're looking to improve the sound of your productions in your home studio with the gear you already have, you can download my polished production checklist for absolutely free. There's a link to the free guide below in this video's description. And until next time, happy mixing.